we're not here carrying Donald Trump's brief. We're not here defending Donald Trump. But the media is jumping to conclusions that feed into Donald Trump's supporters' worst beliefs about the media, that assume the very worst and write it as if that's the case, and you only help Donald Trump.
Okay, but that all said, and we can't resolve what was in Donald Trump's mind when he made that comment.
And you would
about me.
agree, as a reporter for the New York Times, that the editor should not write it as the lead, that is what Donald Trump is talking about, because you don't know, I don't know, they don't know what was in his head.
We don't know, but but I think let's look at it this way. Do you think that sitting here today on Monday morning, 3.5 days or whatever it is since that debate, do you think Donald Trump is in better shape than he was 3.5 days ago, or in worse shape than he was 3.5 days ago?
I think he's probably, after being on all the Sunday news shows, and probably after you once again have the media overreacting and the Republican establishment in Washington overreacting and the Iron Triangle, that I think he's probably, well, in as good of shape. I know this. It wasn't Donald Trump who was hurt by the debate. It was Jeb Bush who was hurt by the debate. It was Scott Walker who was hurt by the debate. It was the Republican establishment that was hurt by the debate. Look at the people who went up. Add up Donald Trump's numbers, Ben Carson's numbers, and Ted Cruz's numbers. You're approaching 50% of three guys who were just anti-Washington. Who was the biggest winner, Mika? Probably Carly Fiorina.
She was. She was. And, you know, it's not just the media. I think there's a whole list here of entities that have taken not only just a side against Donald Trump, but aim at him. And they've completely misfired. And it's not just the media, it's elite circles. It's you know, Fox News itself. It's the Republican Party, and they've all completely overreached.
Well,
and what they need to be looking at is not Donald Trump, but the mood of the country.
Well, and by the way, let's just state, I think Donald Trump did a terrible job on the debate Thursday night.
Right.
I think most of us did. I thought he bumbled through questions. He should have been better prepared. I thought it was a bad night for him. It is, though, the media overreacting to Donald Trump that once again feeds into Donald Trump. Who was it? I saw there was a quote that I think I sent to you. I think Matt Taibbi, that said only the Republican establishment and the mainstream media, by overreaching, could make, as Matt Taibbi said, one of the biggest bullies in America a sympathetic figure. And speaking of which, let's talk about my friends at Fox News. And I don't know Megyn Kelly that well, but I certainly, I just don't, I can't have any more respect for the three, and for Chris Wallace, and I just love Brett.
Huge.
And I've known him for a long time. I love him. He's a great guy. But let's talk about that for a second, and the overreaction of that. That, you know, Reince Priebus had decided to ban networks, this one, and I would if I were Reince Priebus too, so I'm not knocking on. I might never give him MSNBC a Republican debate right now. Pretty soon I would. Things are changing really quickly, this network. But a year ago, never. I understand that. But the idea was to get news outlets, Mark, that would ask legitimate questions about policy instead of gotcha questions. There wasn't a single question asked of the Republican frontrunner that dealt with jobs, that dealt with Iran, that dealt with ISIS, that dealt with the economy writ large, that dealt with foreign policy writ large. It was, you had three questions. The first one was, I was stunned. And I guess you told me Rush Limbaugh talked about this for a long time. On the first question was on Donald Trump's insult of Rosie O'Donnell and his insults of reality show contestants. And were they crude and crass? Yes. Would I ever say it? No. Would any Republican candidate there ever say it? But no. But that's your first question. And then the next question was asking this billionaire about 4 deals that failed. And then the third was, really, it was a political speech that was